Lily's dishes are delicious. Matzo ball soup. This is my signature style matzo ball soup. What makes it unique is the seasonings that I'm using. Both the soup and the matzo balls are packed with flavor. Stay with me and I'm going to share my secret with you. So I'm using the typical ingredients for the soup, carrots, celery, parsley, onion, but I'm also adding half of the cauliflower. Then of course, meat, water, salt and pepper, and I'm adding caraway seeds and bay leaves, and of course, parsley leaves. I do everything in a certain sequence. The first thing I do, I'm going to boil the meat. So I'm putting the meat in the pot, add the water, and then the salt, and then bring it to boil. But I have to be here when the water starts boiling because you will notice that some foam will develop on top of the soup, and you want to pick up that foam and get rid of it. Otherwise, your soup will become very murky. And in the meantime, I'm going to work on the matzo balls. For the matzo balls, I'm going to use the matzo ball and soup mix package. It's two of them. I'm going to use the schmaltz, the yellow stuff that you see in the cup there. Half of it is schmaltz, half of it is club soda. And every box contains two packages. One of them is the matzo meal and one of them is the seasoning. And of course, I need 4 eggs. Break the eggs into a bowl and then using an electrical mixer beat the eggs. I prefer the electrical mixer versus the fork because the electrical mixer introduces a lot of air into the eggs, which results into a much fluffier matzo ball. So you want a lot of air inside that matzo ball, otherwise it will become dense and heavy and it will be a sinker. You would like to have floaters, not sinkers. So beat it really well and then start adding the ingredients inside. The schmaltz and the club soda mixture. The club soda helps having a fluffier matzo ball because it has a lot of air in it, and the schmaltz has a lot of flavor. What schmaltz is, it's actually rendered chicken fat. I'm going to post a separate video of how to make the schmaltz. Then I'm adding half of that package, the seasoning package. Again, this will help with a lot of flavor in that matzo ball. And then I'm adding the matzo meal, the 2 packages of matzo meal. When I mix now, I'm going to mix it with the fork. I'm not using the electrical mixer from here on. And I'm very gently mixing the eggs with the ingredients. Again, you don't want to over mix from here on because if you're mixing it too fast, the matzo balls will become too dense. So you gently run your fork through it, and before you know it, that mixture will be well combined. Then place it in the fridge and keep it there until you're ready to use it. But first, cover it with a saran wrap. Now I'm going to cut the vegetables. I'm going to chop the onion first, and then I'm going to cut the carrots. The carrots and the parsley root, I'm cutting them in the same shape, in the round little pieces. I always like to cut them the same way. Split the celery stalk and then cut it in small cubes. Then add the cauliflower in the same dish. Perfect timing. My soup is just about to boil. And as I told you, that foam will gather on top of the soup. And now I have to pick it up. I'm using a small little strainer and I continue to pick up the pieces of foam until my broth is very clear. And in a matter of a minute or two, you will notice how it's going to be nice and clear. Otherwise, my soup will end up being very murky. Look how much of the foam I scooped up. And now my soup is nice and clear. At this point, I'm going to put an entire package of that soup mix. And then everything goes in from here on. The seasoning, the bay leaves, the caraway seeds, the black pepper, the vegetables. And then I'm going to let it cook until it's done. Perfect timing to chop the parsley leaves. And then I'm going to make the matzo balls. Fresh out of the fridge. I'm going to mix it a little bit. Then I'm going to put some oil on my hands. And I'm going to roll up the matzo balls. To make them uniform, I'm using this ice cream scooper, the smaller one. This way they're all the same size. So just very gently, do not over-roll it. Just very gently put in your hands, make the tiny ball, and then put it on the side. Don't press it too hard. You want this to be nice and fluffy. You don't want it to be dense and heavy. You want your matzo balls to be floaters, not sinkers. So take your time, just very gently roll it up. Don't overdo it. Put it aside. And I ended up with 22 of them. In a separate pot, I have water boiling here, and I'm gently placing those matzo balls into the boiling water. Once I put them all in, I'm going to lower the temperature to medium-low, and I'm adding that remaining half a pack of the seasoning that I have. I always boil my matzo balls in a separate water. I am not boiling them into the broth, into the soup, because what happens as they're boiling, they're going to absorb liquid. And if I boil them in the soup, all that broth will be absorbed by them, and you'll end up with nothing else but some matzo balls and vegetables. So that's why I boil them separately. And that's the reason why I put that seasoning into the water. This is when they absorb the liquid. That liquid is already seasoned, so it adds more flavor to the matzo balls. Soup is done, and I can't wait to try it. So I'm going to place a little bit into my plate. Then I'm adding the matzo ball and a little bit of the parsley to garnish. And now I want you to see how perfect those matzo balls are. Did you see how easy it was for me to cut that matzo ball with a spoon? It's very light, it's very fluffy, it's not dense at all. It's a perfect matzo ball. And the taste is outstanding. Hope you enjoyed it and hope you make it. Thanks for watching.